Kanye showcased great potential on this beat tape as he provides creative laid-back instrumentals that has the ability to put you in a relaxing mood. The vibe of this project is that of the lo-fi genre, which is due to similar elements. I think it's safe to say that these beats aged incredibly, as they sound like something you would hear today. It's great to hear the early stages of Kanye, as he would later become one of the most respected and influential producers in hip-hop. With that being said, this project is almost flawless, as I didn't care for the melodies on one instrumental. Other than that, this is a really good instrumental album, as it's filled with relaxing vibes and creativity.
Know what the Midwest is? Young and restless, but restless. Nigga might snatch your necklace.
Kanye's first demo tape consists of him showcasing his potential to the highest degree. His production skills are unique and creative, and his rap performances are intriguing. Another fascinating thing about this project is that it contains demo versions of notable tracks he'll recreate on the albums The College Dropout and Late Registration. We get a very raw version of the track Yeezus Walks, as the production and Kanye's low-quality vocals sound more gritty. This also goes for the songs Have It Your Way, aka Bring Me Down, and Family Business. I love the original instrumental on the track All Falls Down, as it greatly showcases Kanye's inspirational production and eager rap flow. But although there's a lot of good on this project, there are some instances where tracks were just decent to me. I still don't like the repetitious singing on the song Hey Mama, as it affects Kanye's passion and performance. Other decent tracks just lack replay value, as they are uninteresting all around. In conclusion, this is a pretty good demo tape that greatly highlights Kanye's potential.
It's only two places you end up, either dead or in jail.
The concept of this project is people telling Kanye West to get well soon, as he was involved in a near-fatal car crash. He was still known as a producer at the time, but a lot of his peers noticed his capabilities of a rapper, which led to them praising his skill. This mixtape is compiled of songs that were produced by Kanye West, along with solo tracks from himself. This mixtape greatly highlights his production skills, which consist of creative instrumentals. Kanye's beats are extremely unique, as they involve creatively mixed soulful samples and motivational vibes. He's also capable of creating catchy melodies with unorthodox sound effects, with the perfect example being the instrumental for the track Be Alright by Trina and Ludacris. A perfect example of his inspirational sound is the track Through the Wire, which is a major highlight for me. Not only is the production amazing, Kanye also provides a passionate performance that involves him rapping through his surgical wire after his car accident. This is also a raw recording of this track, which helps bring out Kanye's heartfelt performance. In conclusion, this is a great mixtape with a ton of gems produced by Kanye West.
Even better than I was the last time, baby.
Yo, John,
Ooh,
can't complain, huh?
This is a continuation of his mixtape Get Well Soon, as he's now fully recovered from his car accident. Now he's ready to take the industry by storm, as he's an incredible rapper and producer. He's already cemented his name in the game, as he's produced hits for various big name artists, and his next step is to do the same for himself. This mixtape has the same formula as the previous one, which involves Kanye showcasing his production and rapping skills. He effectively did this, as there are several tracks on this project that are incredible. The intro song is extremely catchy, as Kanye raps and talks over infectious singing vocals. He provides interesting concepts on the tracks Half Price and O3 Electric Relaxation, and he even shows off the samples he's used for the iconic tracks produced on the album Blueprint on the song Blueprint compilation. But although there's a lot of good on this mixtape, there are tracks that contain uninteresting instrumentals and awful performances from guest features. Perfect examples of this are the tracks G.O.O.D The Knockout King, which contains a lackluster instrumental and boring performance from the artist G.L.C, and Untitled, where the featured artist provides a horrible rendition of the Run DMC flow. In conclusion, this is a great mixtape that showcases Kanye's potential while also having tracks with uninteresting performances from guest features.
She said she wants some more than you. Some Luther Vandross, a little Anita.
I'm not sure if this is an official Kanye West mixtape or not, but what I do know is that this is a great compilation of Kanye freestyles and tracks he's produced. Some of my favorite Kanye production appears on this project, with the examples being Slow Jams and You Don't Know My Name from Alicia Keys, which is my all-time favorite Kanye instrumental. There are also some extremely unique songs on this project, with good examples being Knock Knock, which involves Kanye flirting with the singer Monica. Through the Wire remix involves Kanye celebrating the 1-year anniversary of his car accident as he prevailed, which led to him greatly succeeding in his rap career. The eagerness and determination in his vocal performance is next level, which has the ability to motivate listeners. But although this mixtape had amazing highlights, there are some moments where performances and production on certain tracks aren't interesting. All in all, this is a well put together mixtape with a ton of gems.
Oh, when it all,
Yeah.
it all falls down.
This the real one, baby.
I'm telling
Kanye shines on his debut album as he provides incredible production and performances. The instrumentals greatly showcase his vocal performances, which range from inspiration and soul. Another highlight on this album are the concepts, which deal with the mentalities and hardships of black people in low-end communities. Perfect examples of this are the tracks We Don't Care, All Falls Down, and Spaceships. The highly spiritual track Jesus Walks involves Kanye providing a fiery performance over hard-hitting production. This song is also motivational, as it focuses on people that deal with various struggles in life and fighting through these hardships by keeping their faith in Jesus. Another aspect of this album are songs that focus on the ladies, with a major highlight being the extended version of the track Slow Jams. But a downside on this project are a few songs that focus on this aspect, as they include uninteresting production and performances. But this isn't much of an issue, as this album is incredible all around, which led to it receiving an almost perfect score. In conclusion, this was an amazing debut album, as Kanye showcases his talents magnificently.
Now I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke niggas. Now I ain't saying
Kanye comes through on his second album and provides incredible production and performances. He also continues to provide interesting concepts with the witty rap style. His punchlines are next level, which makes each track incredibly valuable. Another highlight of this album are the guest features. Kanye masterfully placed each guest artist on the right track, and he matches their energy as well. There wasn't a single bad guest on this album, as they all assisted Kanye immensely. Everything flowed incredibly on this album, which only led to me not liking the instrumental on one track. The rest of this album is filled with exciting production and performances, which led to it having a ton of major highlights. You have catchy tracks such as Gold Digger, Crack Music, and Addiction. You have motivational tracks like Touch the Sky, Bring Me Down, and We Major. And you have heartfelt tracks that involve Kanye expressing his love for his family and Rockefeller family on the tracks Roses and Diamonds from Sierra Leone. This album also holds my all-time favorite Kanye West song, Late, which includes a godly instrumental and immaculate performance from Kanye. In conclusion, this is an incredible album with fascinating production and performances.
lifestyles of the broken famous. Let you know how crazy this game is. Look at all the new beautiful faces.
This mixtape serves as a prequel to the album Graduation, and it doesn't disappoint. Kanye continues to showcase his creativity, which consists of innovative production and compelling performances. The snippet to the track Stronger greatly highlights his futuristic production, as the instrumental is extremely unique. This mixtape also holds a lot of hidden gems from other artists. Perfect examples are the tracks Colors, which consist of a rare performance from Farnsworth Bentley. This song also features good verses from Lil Wayne and Pimp C. Other gems consist of an early performance from Big Sean on the song Get Ya Some, and Consequence provides a very catchy performance on the song Don't Forget 'Em. But although there are a lot of highlights on this mixtape, there are some tracks that weren't interesting, which is due to lackluster performances and production. All in all, this is a good mixtape that holds a handful of enjoyable tracks.
That don't kill me, can only make me stronger. I need you.
Kanye continues to showcase his incredible talents on this album as he provides fresh production with a futuristic sound. The production on this album was ahead of its time, as most instrumentals sound like they're from another dimension. Kanye also provides amazing performances as his flows are ambitious along with his lyrics. The concept of this album is another thing that brings out all the great performances, as it's about Kanye celebrating his success as he worked incredibly hard to get where he's at. There are a lot of tracks that have the ability to inspire you, with perfect examples being the intro track Good Morning, Champion, Stronger, and so many more. One major highlight for me is the track Big Brother, which involves Kanye West talking about how his mentor Jay-Z inspires him to be great, and he also thanks him for helping him with his career. In conclusion, this is an incredible album with amazing production and performances from Kanye.
In the night, I hear him talk, the coldest story ever told.
Kanye presents an entirely different sound on this project, which wasn't appealing for the most part. I was half and half on the production, as some instrumentals are interesting, while others are uninteresting and boring. The main flaw on this project is Kanye's new style, which consists of him singing with autotune. Most performances consist of bad singing attempts combined with bad sounding autotune. But although a lot of tracks aren't sonically appealing, they do match the concept of the album, which consists of Kanye singing about sad moments and heartbreak. But through all the poor performances and sonically unappealing tracks, Kanye did create some enjoyable moments. I like the upbeat feel of the song Heartless. Paranoid is the best song, as it captures that pop aesthetic exceptionally well, and Kanye gives a very passionate performance on the song Pinocchio Story. In conclusion, this wasn't a good album, as Kanye's creative style is unappealing for the most part.
No one man should have all that power. The clock's ticking, I just count the hours.
Kanye continues to showcase his genius on this project. Songs are filled with amazing production and performances. Kanye also provides a new level of creativity as he incorporates fascinating singing performances on songs. He was able to make a lot of songs catchy by doing this. Another incredible thing about this album are the performances from the guest features. A perfect example of this is the song Monster, which involves Rick Ross, Jay-Z, and Nicki Minaj providing amazing verses with great flows and lyrics. There are plenty examples of this on this project, which adds to its enjoyability. Kanye also did a great job with the concept of this project as he takes the listener through his beautiful dark twisted fantasy. A song that greatly showcased this concept is the track Hell of a Life, which involves Kanye sharing his lustful thoughts. But although there's a lot of good on this album, there were moments that didn't sonically appeal to me. I didn't like the second half of the track Devil in a New Dress, as the laid back instrumental is ruined by loud guitar riffs and a hype unamusing flow from Rick Ross. I also didn't like the creative choice on the song Lost in the World, as the additional vocals are all over the place. But other than that, this is an incredible album with intriguing production and performances.
Christmas in Harlem, right after autumn falls.
This mixtape has the same formula as his album My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, as tracks consist of a ton of guest features and unique production. These features are actually a part of Kanye's Good Music Collective, hence the name of the mixtape. There's a common occurrence on this project where a song is ruined by the performance of a single artist. Another major flaw in this mixtape is that the mixing isn't up to quality. There are a few instances where vocals sound like they were recorded on a poor microphone. Tracks also consist of artists' vocals being louder than others, which kills the enjoyment of these songs. Perfect examples of this are Swiss Beats' low-quality vocals on the song Lord, 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 and Kid Cudi's loud vocals on the song Christian Dior Denim Flow. But although this is a common occurrence on this project, there are still some major highlights. The original version of the song Devil in a New Dress is amazing, as it doesn't consist of unamusing sounds and an overly hyped verse from Rick Ross. Another major highlight is the song The Joy, as the instrumental is greatly produced. The additional vocals from Curtis Mayfield are incredible, and Jay-Z and Kanye West drop great verses. In conclusion, this is a decent mixtape that caters to the sound of Kanye's album My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Kanye and Jay-Z's styles complement each other amazingly on this project, which led to them creating a ton of enjoyable tracks. The overall concept of this album revolves around their great success, which involves them holding the positions of legends in hip-hop. Their status also led to them achieving wealth, which they have no issue bragging about as they worked hard to get where they're at. The inspirational and braggadocious vibe is executed greatly, which is due to the production and intriguing performances. Perfect examples of this are the tracks Otis, Who Gon' Stop Me, and Ham. Another great aspect about this project is the fact Jay-Z and Kanye tackle deep topics that revolve around their community and personal lives. The song Murder to Excellence tackles the topics of black-on-black violence and how living through the madness can possibly lead to excellence. On the song New Day, Jay-Z and Kanye talk about the love they have for their children. Although I didn't like the production on this song, I can most certainly appreciate the concept. Speaking of unappealing production, that's the only issue I had with certain tracks, as Jay-Z and Kanye showcase great chemistry on each song. All in all, this is an amazing album with great production and performances. This is a compilation album under Kanye's label Good Music. It consists of performances from talented rappers and singers. There's a lot of experimentation, as tracks are very unique. This is also the downfall of this album, as a lot of songs have a mainstream pop feel to them. The sound of this genre doesn't appeal to me at all, which led to me not enjoying a large majority of these songs. This flaw also makes this album not flow well, as some tracks have a hard trap style to them, only to be followed up with something Miley Cyrus would sing on. With that being said, I prefer the rap style tracks. A major highlight for me is the song Click, which has an infectious instrumental and each artist provides great verses. The creative production of the remix of Chief Keef's popular song Don't Like is extremely catchy, along with exciting verses from the featured artist. There are 2 more instances like this, but for the most part, this compilation album didn't do it for me, as a majority of the tracks aren't sonically appealing. Kanye provides a totally different sound on this project. Although I commend his creativity, most tracks are ruined by weird and obnoxious sound effects. This is a shame, as Kanye provides really good rap performances on these songs. I will even go as far as saying some of his best verses appear on this project. The main theme of this album is Kanye performing really well, only for it to be ruined by a crazy sound effect. Perfect examples of this are the loud screams on the song I Am a God, the annoying pterodactyl sound effect on the song Hold My Liquor, and the very loud synths on the song On Sight. Another positive about this project are the concepts. Kanye provides interesting topics as he expresses his views on the perception of black people in America. He talks about how they've been trained to be slaves to material things on the track New Slaves, and he amazingly illustrates his perspective on modern day slavery on the song Blood on the Leaves. This song also has incredible production. In conclusion, this honestly wasn't a bad album. The only issue for me are the creative choices of the production, as weird sounds ruins a lot of tracks.
Step up in this bitch like I'm the one your bitch like. Yeah, I'm the one your bitch.
Kanye reverts back to his essence on this album, while also staying true to evolving and trying new things. If I had to explain the structure of this album, I would say it's the College Dropout and My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy combined. This is due to the creative production, amazing guest performances, and the overall subject matter. Kanye talks about his strong faith in God, and he reflects on his career as he sees himself as a modern-day classical artist such as Mozart. I would have to say that I agree with this statement, as Kanye provides incredible performances on this project. His singing vocals drastically improved, and his rap flows are still intriguing. The production is another major highlight, as the instrumentals provide a high level of creativity. In conclusion, this is an incredible album, as it contains amazing performances from Kanye and the guest features.
Someday, I wanna.
This project is mostly compiled with unamusing singing performances from Kanye West and the guest features. The production is just okay, as there is only one standout instrumental. The rest of the production consists of slow vibes with not much to write home about. But through all the poor performances and production, Kanye provides interesting concepts that deal with his recent controversies and his perspective on life. A perfect example of this is the song Wouldn't Leave, which consists of him highlighting the loyalty of his significant other as he feared she would have left him in the midst of his controversies. Kanye provided passionate performances on these tracks that has the ability to make the listener relate to the things he's going through. One major highlight for me is the track Violent Crimes, which involves Kanye being fearful of the fact that his daughter will grow up. He hopes that she doesn't fall into any traps, as he knows the world is very harsh. In conclusion, this wasn't an enjoyable album for me overall, but although that's the case, there are still some songs that I enjoy.
It feels so good it should cost. Brought an alligator, I ain't talking Lacoste.
Kanye and Kid Cudi did a great job setting the mood for this project. It definitely feels like an outer body experience, which is due to the trance-like production and creative performances from Kanye, Kid Cudi, and the guest features. The concept of this album is about fighting through the hardships of life and reaching utopia at the end. A perfect example that reflects the concept is the track Reborn. Although this track did a great job giving off the motivational feel, Kid Cudi's performance is very dreadful. This album also had a bad start, as Kanye ruins the intro track Feel the Love with very loud and sporadic vocals. But thankfully these are the only flaws on this project. The rest of the tracks are filled with creative production and fascinating performances. A major highlight for me is the song Free, Ghost Town Part 2. The sound of this track is very reminiscent of the group Parliament Funkadelic, which consists of Kanye, Kid Cudi, and Ty Dolla $ign providing intriguing vocals with a ton of creativity. In conclusion, this is a great album, as it has the ability to motivate you through your hardships.
Close on Sunday. You my Chick-fil-A. Close on Sunday.
This album is very boring. This mainly has to do with Kanye's underwhelming performances and uninteresting production. It feels like Kanye wasn't fully motivated while recording this project, as his vocals are very dreadful. Another thing that I didn't like were all the additional performances from the choir and guest features, as they sound equally bad. This combined with boring instrumentals made my head hurt, and I couldn't wait for this project to end. But although the majority of this album is a snooze fest, I did like the overall concept, which involves Kanye expressing the love he has for Jesus and how he continues to be a major factor in his life. There are multiple concepts that revolve around his faith, which would have been amazing if executed correctly. The two tracks that I liked on this album didn't do anything for me overall, as they're just passably good. In conclusion, this is a very bad album. The production and performances aren't enjoyable, which led to a tiresome listening experience.
Out of the body, jury is Gotti, tears is Saudi, my spirit is godly.
What was supposed to be Kanye's 9th album is a fan-made collection of songs that were supposed to appear on the project. These songs still have the same theme of the album Jesus is King, which involves Kanye expressing his faith in God. This concept also led to this project having a ton of inspirational tracks. For the most part, I didn't like the creative decisions of the production, and Kanye has quite a bit of unbearable performances. Perfect examples of this is his terrible flowing rhymes on the song Bye Bye Baby, and he also provided annoying unorthodox vocals along with the featured artist on the song Alien. Other tracks that I didn't care for were uninteresting or they didn't appeal to me sonically. But although this is the case, there are still some gems on this project. The original version of the song Sky City is incredible, as all parties provide intriguing singing vocals. Kanye and Charlie Wilson have great chemistry on the song Brothers, along with Kanye and Aunt Clemens providing passionate performances on the song All Dreams Real. In conclusion, this isn't a good project overall, but there are some gems.
I was up for self. I was up for sale.
This album is reminiscent of the formula of Kanye's 5th studio album My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, as it has a ton of guest features and unique production. For this album, Kanye got new school rappers to assist him, and they did an incredible job overall. The vibe of the instrumentals are both dark and inspirational, which is executed remarkably. Another plus on this album are Kanye's performances. It seems like he keeps getting better, as this album holds some of his best singing and rapping performances. The concept of this project revolves around Kanye paying tribute to his mother Donda West, as she was a great motivator for him to pursue his career. He also continues to show his love and dedication to Jesus Christ, which leads to incredible vocals from the church choir on some songs. But although there's a lot of good on this album, there are quite a bit of tracks where Kanye and the featured artist flows and singing performances were unamusing. But although this is the case, I didn't think these songs were bad, they just didn't appeal to me sonically. In conclusion, this is an amazing album that's jam-packed with exciting guest features, fascinating production, and great performances from Kanye.
.30 the car missing. No text backs or call missions. I feel like we all.
Now, I'm fully aware that this album wasn't fully released, but I feel as though I have to review it in order to avoid the words Donda 2 comments. With that being said, this album is a mess. There are rarely any interesting performances, and the production is some of the worst Kanye's ever done. Songs don't flow naturally, and the content is uninteresting. Not only was I bored listening to this album, some of the instrumentals and vocal performances gave me a serious headache. But although this album isn't enjoyable for the most part, there are some highlights. I can't believe Soulja Boy has one of the best verses on this project, as he showcased multiple interesting flows on the song First Time in a Long Time, and Game provided great lyricism on the track Easy. Another highlight is Kanye's passionate performance on the song 530 Dear Summer, which also has a great concept. In conclusion, this is a very bad album, as it's boring and sonically bad.
The Game of Thrones, Yeezy not the clones. Elon wear my rocket ship. It's time to go home.
Kanye West and Ty Dolla $ign present a very creative experience with this project, which is also its main issue, as a lot of tracks seem like the production was just thrown together. These songs don't flow well, as the styles of the featured artists don't match up with Kanye and Ty Dolla $ign. Another thing that happened while I was listening to this album is that the further I got, the more Ty Dolla $ign's presence diminished. His chemistry with Kanye West faded away, which is due to the heavy production and the out-of-place features. Another thing that ruined a lot of tracks for me was Kanye's very sporadic vocal choices. Perfect examples of this are his weird baby-like vocals on the song F Something, and his very hype animated flow on the song Carnival. But although there is a lot of bad on this album, there are some highlights. Stars was a really good opening track. Keys to My Life included a lot of samples and beat switches that were perfected, along with Kanye West and Ty Dolla $ign providing a great performance overall. They were able to duplicate this with tracks like Burn and Problematic, but other than that, this album was a bad listening experience for me, as the production and vocals are way too experimental. On the second installment of the Vultures series, things are a lot better. Songs aren't completely ruined by weird production and vocal styles from Kanye West. Ty Dolla $ign also feels more involved, as the previous flaws don't exist. Another difference is that this project has a different vibe, as the concepts are mostly about faith and inspiration. This leads to a handful of uplifting tracks, with perfect examples being the songs River and My Soul. But not only are there uplifting tracks, this album also contains fun party tracks with unique guest features. A major highlight for me is the song Field Trip, which consists of creative vocals from Playboi Carti, Don Toliver, and Kodak Black. Future provides catchy melodic vocals on the track Promotion, and Lil Baby killed his verse on the track Forever Rollin'. But although this album is an improvement from the previous one, there are still quite a bit of tracks that bored me, which is due to the production and performances from Kanye, Ty Dolla $ign, and the guest features. In conclusion, this is a pretty good album that has some really enjoyable songs. Listening to Kanye's discography was a very interesting experience. As soon as I listened to his first couple of projects, I immediately witnessed his passion through his production and vocals. He had something to say, and he wanted to leave his mark in hip-hop. Well, he definitely did that, as he's one of the most talented and creative rappers in the genre. I would go as far as to say that Kanye is a new entry in my top 10, as he showcased appealing styles throughout his discography. Another interesting thing about Kanye's catalog is that you witness his mindset, as he has an interesting outlook on life. Even if you don't agree with certain things that he talks about, it still makes him very unique, as he isn't afraid to speak his mind. I like the fact that he always kept his faith in God, which led to a lot of inspirational and uplifting tracks. Kanye is also not afraid to experiment with different styles, which is another exciting aspect about his discography. Even if some of his experimentation led to a not so good project, I still appreciate the fact that he kept things fresh. Kanye also has some of the greatest beats in his catalog, which he had a major hand in creating himself. He's just an all-around talented artist, and he has one of the most entertaining discographies in hip-hop. He's still showing that he can provide great music with his most recent release Vultures 2, which continues to highlight his creativity 2 decades later. In conclusion, I had a great time listening to Kanye's entire discography, as it kept me entertained by many creative and unique styles. Kanye is definitely a legend in the rap game, and he continues to impact the genre in a major way. With that being said, this was my review of Kanye West's entire discography. Stay tuned for more discography reviews, and I'm gonna catch you guys in the next video. Gully Boy signing out.